Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to make cards with rounded corners in Cricut Design Space. So the first thing is, if we want to do a standard 2.5 by 3.5 inch card, we're going to need to start with a rectangle. And the way we're going to do this to save time is we're just going to build 1/4 of the card and then duplicate it, around. So we're not going to build the whole card at once. So what we need, I'm going to switch this color to white, is if we're going to make 1/4 of the card, we need half of the width of 2.5 inches, which is, I'm going to uncheck the constrained proportions. So half of 2.5 inches is 1.25 inches, and half of the height of 3.5 inches is 1.75 inches. So this is like the top left of the card we're going to make. All right, so let's put that there. And since we're going to do 1/4 inch rounded corners, we're going to need to cut out 1/4 inch squares from the way the way Cricut Design Space works. So I'm going to make another shape. I'm going to make another square here. And since we want to cut out a 1/4 inch square, I'm actually going to make this twice the size. I'm going to make it a 1/2 inch square. So I'm going to make this size 0.5 by 0.5. Let's go ahead and change the color to white. All right. And then while we're at it, just to save a little time, I want to make another shape. I'm going to make a circle. And I'm going to make this size also 0.5, 0.5. And the reason I made this 0.5 by 0.5 is because that means it has a radius of 0.25 or a 1/4 inch. So the radius is a 1/4 inch. This is the radius we want to use. So we're going to put that off to the side. I'm going to duplicate this square, put this off to the side, just hold on to that for a minute. So now what we want to do is we want to use this to cut, and this is where we need to use our positioning to get this right. So let's put our rectangle at 1, 1, and then we want this to be kind of in here, but we want it to be halfway in here. So we need to place this one at 0.75 by 0.75. Now that puts that in the corner there. Now we can highlight this, and we can go down here and we can slice it. All right. So now we can pull that away, delete it. We can pull that little corner away, delete it. It even leaves a final one there, and we can delete that. So you're left with this. All right. Move that out of the way. We're going to do kind of the same thing with this over here. We're going to take our circle and we're going to put it at 1, 1. Then we're going to take our square and we want to drop it sort of right there. So that's going to need to be at 0.75 by 0.75. All right, we got that. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to highlight that. We're going to slice that. We're going to move that out of the way, delete it. We're going to get that little corner point, delete it. We're going to pull that out. Just make sure you're left with one. You might be left with 2 of these, so just make sure you're left with one. All right. So now we can take that. We can make sure that that is at 1, 1. And then this also needs to be at 1, 1. All right. And don't worry that it might look a little off. As long as the numbers are correct, it's depending on your screen, the line thickness, or it's the way the screen renders the lines. Even though that might look weird, as long as this is at 1, 1 and that's at 1, 1, you're fine. Highlight this, weld this together. Now you've got 1/4 of a card. So now we're going to take this, we're going to duplicate this, and then we're going to flip it horizontally. All right. So now we can put that at 2.25, 1. All right. Now we can weld this, then duplicate this, flip that vertically, and now this needs to be at 1, and then that number needs to be at, so let's make that, so that's got to be exactly 1 and 2.75. We'll highlight this and weld this, and now you have a 2.5 by 3.5 card with rounded edges at a 1/4 inch. Perfect. Now one note is that you can proportionally size this with no problem, all right? What you don't want to do now is just try to make, say, the card longer. See, because if you make the card longer, then you're stretching the corners. This isn't sort of like smart, like, say, Adobe Illustrator or something. So there you go. So that's how you make a 2.5 by 3.5 inch card with 1/4 inch rounded corners. If you want to make different size cards, just follow the same steps and think about where your corners and things go for different size or radiuses. I hope this helps. Thanks a lot. Bye.